Support for WYES is made possible by Mary Lou Kristovich in memory of her husband, William Kristovich.
Good evening, I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Carl Mack, musician, talent agent, and owner of the newly opened Mardi Gras Museum of Costumes and Culture. Here to discuss his new Mardi Gras Museum and also to talk about the crew of stars. Yay, Carl, great to see you.
Thank you.
It's really great to have you. And Poppy Tucker, host of the WWNO radio program, Louisiana Eats. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hi, Peg.
And making her Steppin Out debut, we're thrilled, vocalist Raynel Shepard, here to discuss her upcoming cabaret performance to benefit the Sims Library and Columbia Theater over in Hammond. Welcome. Hello. And good old Alan Smason, theater critic and editor of the Crescent City Jewish News. Hello, hello.
Hey there.
First up, Poppy, have you got some show and tell, girl?
Oh, so much going on at this time of year. And of course, the big game is Sunday. And so I've got a fabulous idea about where to go for Super Bowl. The Bayou Burger and Sports Company has two locations now. Their original location on Bourbon Street, and they have a new location on Magazine Street. This is the perfect spot for watching the Super Bowl because there's lots of TVs and incredible Super Bowl style food. As a matter of fact, uptown on Magazine Street, they've got 22 TVs. So if you can't see, there's something wrong with your eyes. And the burgers there are outrageous, and we're going to talk now about the burgers we've got on the table. The first one here is the Gleason, and the Gleason is bacon, white cheddar, arugula, fried egg, avocado, and truffle aioli. And of course, it was designed by Mr. Gleason himself.
Mr. Steve Gleason,
Mr. Steve Gleason. And they are so generous at Bayou Burger that every burger, a Gleason burger that you buy, every one forever, $1 to the No White Flags. And for the entire first month of their opening this month, they will also donate $1 to No White Flags for every other hamburger.
And that's his foundation.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a no white flag.
Steve Gleason.
Yeah.
Steve Gleason. Okay. Then the next one you see here is the Engine, which is it's a ground patty with grilled jalapenos, pepper jack cheese, slaw, red onion, and sriracha aioli. Then over on the side there, we've got the Matador, which is spice, citrus, cilantro, cabbage, grilled avocado, pico de gallo, jalapenos, and queso. And there's so much more than just burgers. And of course, those chips are all house-made too. Yum. And they've got house-made tater tots. They've got edamame hummus, something I haven't eaten yet, sandwiches, hot dogs, wraps, tacos, and they have entrees like barbecued wild boar ribs, blackened fish, and hanger steak. So anything at all you have a hankering for, you can undoubtedly find, and you can see the big game on Sunday. Now, Tarek Hanna has created what he says is the king cake of the year. This is actually, I've never heard of a limited edition king cake before. It's the Gâteau d'Or, which is, see, it's gold all over, and it's buttery Danish filled with rich dark chocolate pastry cream, studded with Swiss caramel milk chocolate chunks, finished with caramel. And it's available in Sucre retail stores only until February 12th. And of course, that's uptown in the French Quarter and at Lakeside. Then the other thing that it's really time, all these holidays, for people to start thinking about, time to get your Valentine reservations made. So I've got a few early bird Valentine's ideas. Now, I just love Isaac Toups. So I would really love to go to Toups Meadery or Toups South, which of course is in the Southern Food and Beverage Museum, our home for Louisiana Eats. Isaac is doing a 4-course tasting menu for $65. It's the bargain I have found. And you can add wine and cocktail pairings for just $40 more. To give you an idea of what he's serving, truffled cauliflower, Georgia caviar, roasted oysters with crab fat butter, braised Wagyu oxtail, chocolate pavlova for dessert, and at Toup South, there's also going to be blue crab boulettes with avocado mousse, mango mojo, and plantain chips, pork tenderloin noisette with a cherry gastrique, and a white wine poached pear. Compare Le Pan. Of course, they've been named best restaurant out the wazoo. Their fixed price menu is $85, and they've got everything from foie gras royale to coconut fat rice with lobster and trout roe, scallops with chanterelle and black truffles. Their menu is awesome. And at Trinity on Decatur, they're having an aphrodisiac menu of oysters. They're going to be Bama Beauty oysters with horseradish lemon bubbles and tomato caviar. Happy Valentine's. Get those reservations. And then, of course, coming this week on Monday, there is a not-to-be-missed happening going on. It's a benefit for the Southern Food and Beverage Museum.
And absolutely, so looking forward to it, and I'm really excited because this is an exclusive. We're going to show you another king cake a little later, and as a PS to what Poppy's talking about, here is a scene from a brand new documentary, Jeremiah Tower, who we had a few months ago, The Last Magnificent, a new film that charts the life of Mr. Tower, one of the country's most influential figures in the history of American cuisine, and it features interviews with Mario Batali and Anthony Bourdain, among many others. Take a look.
I have to stay away from human beings because somehow I am not one. Everything that is real for me is what is hallucination to others.
Most people would not know who Jeremiah Tower is. And sadly, there weren't restaurants that looked like that before. It was a game changer.
In the 80s and early 90s, Jeremiah Tower was one of the major names in this country. He was on the front of magazines.
That was when the restaurateur became sexy. That's when the chef came out of the dining room.
Couldn't pick up a book at one point that wasn't a collection of great chefs of America. He was right there. And then he's gone. Just disappeared.
What are my great expectations? And what have I done? Well, that remains to be seen.
And this special screening, it's to benefit the Southern Food and Beverage Museum, takes place Monday night at 6:45 at the People's Health New Orleans Jazz Market. It's right next to SoFab. Tower will be there. And now, time for Carl Mack. Carl, so many good things to tell us about in your life. You've been very busy.
Very busy, Peggy. Thank you for having me on.
Sure.
Right, so starting in November, I began building a museum. It's called the Mardi Gras Museum.
A daunting task.
Yeah, well, I have thousands of costumes. So space became available in the French Quarter, 9,000 square feet, and just laid out perfect for a museum. Just gallery after gallery after gallery, and beautiful, nice, clean space. So we picked the best of the collection of costumes and assembled the Mardi Gras Museum of Costumes and Culture.
Well, I think that's going to be so much fun. It seems to me the inventory of that many costumes, it was a hard decision.
Well, we've been making, Carl Mack Presents is a talent agency and entertainment booking.
And costume rentals.
About 25 years ago, we had to start costuming our talent for quality control and make things more spectacular all the time. So we've been recreating Mardi Gras for conventioneers and visitors for years and years now. And then people have been donating, and I've been collecting costumes, and I ended up with several thousand costumes. So we have on display a diversity, showing the diversity of Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras Indian costumes, Cajun costumes. We've got the 610 Stompers, original costumes. We've got kings and queens and costumes from tableau balls.
Now describe where you are. You're on Conti. Where on Conti?
We're 1010 Conti Street.
1010.
So that's between North Rampart and Burgundy.
Okay.
And we're open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. It's roughly $12, $10 for Louisiana residents.
Yeah, so can people also rent costumes there, or is that possible?
We're doing a limited amount of renting. It isn't really laid out like the old store. I had a costume rental business for 8 years in the French Quarter, and that was laid out better for costume renting. So it's kind of warehoused, quite a bit of it's warehoused.
Well, I have to know, I mean, the list is long in terms of your resume. You play the xylophone, you play the drums with the New Leviathan, and you play with other bands too, but mainly New Leviathan.
New Leviathan,
right?
I've been their drummer since 1991.
Yeah, and you came here for?
To play my xylophone for the World's Fair.
At the 1984 World's Fair. That's how long he's been. But that drew you here, didn't it?
Yep, and then I became a clown and a mime and a juggler and a magician, and then I started booking other entertainers and bands and DJs and built it up into a big company of entertainment of all kinds.
And now, like you didn't have enough to do around this time of the year, you're the captain of a new crew.
Yeah, starting a new crew. Marshall Harris is a lieutenant or co-captain, and Becky Allen's the Grand Duchess. Our inaugural ball is on February 18th.
And you've got a queen, and she's in blue right here.
We've got Angela Hill is our very first
fun.
queen. Dennis Asaf from the JPAS, he's our first king. In the ball, it's called a show ball. And we've got Charmaine Neville, we've Jessie Terrebonne, Louis Dudasset, the NOLA Showgirls, we have a burlesque review, we have illusionists. So it's a Mardi Gras extravaganza. We've got a costume parade of costumes in the middle of it, and a lot of visiting royalty coming to toast.
And this is
our
at
King
Jefferson Performing Arts.
It's going to be at the Jefferson Performing Arts Center.
Do you have a favorite costume? I know you have worn many costumes. Do you have one in particular?
I usually dig in my closet, and
just whatever.
I'm not making anything new this year. This is the first year I've just been so busy with the museum and dressing the crew of stars that I haven't really worked on my own costume.
And you have a website?
Yeah, the museum the website for the museum is themardigras.museum.com.
Well, congratulations.
And the website for the Crew of Stars is crewofstars.com.
Okay. Well, best of luck with all of that. That's
Thank you,
great.
Peggy.
Yes. And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for you. We'll tell you all about that. Okay, and so let me tell you about that. Let's see. We've got, this is a good one. I really like this. 3 New Orleans parading crews have the names of local neighborhoods. What are they? Your answers, Steppin Out at WYS.org. Put them in. Tonight we have a year's subscription to Louisiana Life magazine for a prize. And thanks to our friends at Pelican Publishing, we have a copy of the book Mardi Gras Moments with photos by Judy Batoni and text by moi. Okay, Judy has a book signing at Barnes & Noble in Mandeville tomorrow at noon. And we have a $50 gift certificate from our friends at Kitchen Witch Cookbooks right off Broad. And they're still hosting their Happy Hump Day every Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. You can visit WYS.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events, including the Contemporary Arts Center's Black Tie Party Gala Sweet Arts 2017. That's to celebrate their 40th season. It's tomorrow night. WYS's Orpheum Den Tour, February 11th, and upcoming Jasper Brothers performances. You can also link to our WYS YouTube channel to view our program. And now to Raynel. Raynel, my goodness, okay, you are a busy lady, but you're originally from New Orleans, but you've been away, shall we say?
Yes, away for quite a while. Yes, so my mom's family is from here, and you know, I spent some time here growing up, but also I grew up in Berkeley, California. So I've been on sort of in between both coasts and spent a lot of my adult life in Boston.
Well, because you have your PhD in education.
Yes, I do.
And with very impressive. So you and your husband go back and forth.
Yes, yeah.
Wonderful. Now, you're going to, though, be performing for a very special event tomorrow night. Tell us about it.
Yes, it's a fundraiser for Southeastern Louisiana University, and they generally have different types of events, but this will be the first ever cabaret that is being put together, myself and Harry Mayronne, and it's called Breakfast in Paris, Martinis in Manhattan. So it's like songs about those two great cities.
And it's for I understand, for the Columbia Theater, which is this beautifully renovated theater in downtown Hammond.
And
also
theater has this,
libraries.
the library, and the theater itself has this wonderful vintage movie projector that when you go in, when you enter the lobby, you'll see it. It's a huge thing. So it's a lovely space, and we're so happy that we're there.
Now, how did you start singing?
Oh, my goodness. I started as a youngster. My mom was a singer. And you do the typical things, church, folk mass. I was in the folk mass, and then eventually, as an adult, I started to do community theater and summer stock. So, and as I got older, I decided I really want to do something more jazzy, American songbook, and as a solo performer. So that's what I'm doing. This is sort of like my second career.
All right. Now, you at one point attended Xavier Prep, huh?
I did, yeah. My first year of high school, I was at Xavier Prep, and I lived with my grandmother right on Soniat off of Magazine Street. Yeah.
The home of Jermaine Basil, right?
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're so glad that you're performing for us tonight.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And accompanied, as we said, by the Harry Mayronne. Here is Raynel with the popular French song C'est Bon, originally by Henri Batty, with English lyrics added 3 years later in 1950. Here's Raynel.
C'est si bon de partir n'importe où, bras dessous, en pensant des chansons. C'est si bon de se dire des mots doux, les petits rien de tout, mais qui t'en disent en langue, en voyant notre mine ravie. Les passants dans la rue nous envient. C'est si bon de guetter dans ses yeux un espoir merveilleux qui vaut de millions. C'est si bon, un espoir merveilleux, une petite sensation. C'est toujours bon. C'est si bon. It's what French people say with the thrill of romance. It means that it's so good. C'est si bon. So I say it to you like the French people do, because it is so good. When we walk down the street with my hand here, there is only one thing, and it's this, dear. C'est si bon. It's the way it will be if you only will be and say you'll be my own. C'est si bon. For the rest of my days, I will whisper this phrase. C'est si bon. C'est si bon, c'est si bon, c'est si bon.
Once again, Breakfast in Paris and Martinis in Manhattan Cabaret will take place tomorrow evening at the Columbia Theater for the Arts in downtown Hammond. And now it is time for the Art Spotlight. And we have a lot of great things. First, we have a concept sketch from the Crew of Muses show float. And that's the shoe, the big shoe, right? Mardi Gras artist and designer Manuel Ponce, credited with designing and illustrating the crews of Bacchus, Rex, Orpheus, Muses, and others. Ponce has been working with carnival groups for almost 30 years. And he still looks like a little kid. And then we also have, this is the Flaming O costume for the 1957 design of the Crew of Venus, and it's actually supposed to be a flamingo, which is really cool. And this was designed by Catherine Dyer. Born in New Orleans in 1904, Dyer attended LSU before returning to her native city. She co-founded, I remember this name, De Sylvia Dyer Photography Studio. A lot of photos, local photos, and they specialized in wedding and carnival ball photography. She and the late Harold Frank designed the theme, the costumes, and the ball for the Crew of Venus. These designs and more are included in the new exhibit Irises and the Goddesses of Carnival, a collaboration between the Louisiana State Museum and the crews of Iris, Muses, and Nyx. And it commemorates the centennial of Iris and explores the evolution of women's crews in New Orleans from the 1890s to the present day. It will be on view starting next Friday, February 10th through December 30th. Of 2018 at the Presbyterian. You can visit louisianastatemuseum.org to learn more. Also, we'd like to show you on our set, which, by the way, thank you to Nan Dupuy of RDS Concepts, our beautiful set, but we've got some special carnival touches. Look at that incredible flower. First of all, this flower, this very large flower, was designed by papier-mâché carnival sculptor Brian Bush. His work and the work of Mardi Gras float designer Dana Bueller can be found at the Carnival Collective, Miette, on Magazine Street. You can visit iHeartMiette.com for more information. But the beauty of this entire set, as you'll see in our various shots throughout the show, we want to thank Nan Dupuy. Really appreciate her help with this. Alan.
All right. Well, rarely have I seen a show that so thoroughly exceeded my expectations than the show that I'm about to talk about, Jelly's Last Jam, playing now at Le Petit. Of course, we had on Ted Lewis Levy last night. We can't even start to talk about this show until we mention him. He was very much a part of the creation of the role of Jelly Roll Morton, of course, with the Gregory Hines role that won, of course, that coveted Tony Award for him. But he did the tap creation along with Gregory Hines. Levy's just a natural dancer. He taps and moves his way across the stage adroitly. He's a central figure, but of course, he's joined on stage with a cast that's really headed up by Robert DeKey. I got to mention also Jackie Alexander, who was the director of this particular opus. Jackie, of course, is known as a writer and a director of his own. He did the Priestess of Dark Alley not too long ago, but I had no idea that he was capable of putting together this kind of a show with as much dancing, choreography by Tracy Tolmar. It's outstanding choreography. Also not to be missed in this performance is Idella Johnson, who does really nothing less than sing her heart out in the song Play the Music for Me. Again, great music. Tom Hook, the music director there. It's on stage and it's all live and fantastic. Supporting cast members are really terrific. And I really didn't see one person who really didn't give his all for this. These kids are all dancing their hearts out and you will love it. An impressive set by Bill Walker and tremendous costumes by Julie Wynn. And sorry, Carl, she did a really great job there. In deference to you.
But and may I say amen?
Yes,
indeed. I saw it too.
Indeed.
It was really
and that last shot, again, was the picture I took of all the cast performers after the show. Great. Ted, Idella, Robert, and Tracy. The show is really great, and I can't really talk about it enough. It's really top-notch. It's as good as any show I've seen on Broadway. Last night, I got to see a production of On an Average Day, a play that found great success on stage in London with Woody Harrelson and Kyle MacLachlan playing the two central roles. It's really a story about two brothers who've been separated for about 23 years. Bob, a recalcitrant brother, separated by Jack. Again, the older brother played by Garrett Prejean, and of course, Bob played by Matt Story. This is an emotional and psychological drama. It's directed by Monica Harris, who's the co-producer along with the two stars in this work by John Kolvenbach. This was John Kolvenbach's first work, and it does show a little bit of needing to really be, I would say, fleshed out a little bit more. He's had several other more successful pieces, but this is a very intense drama. Not only is there a lot of violence in it, it does actually gain slowly, and then when it starts off, it's building and building, and all of a sudden it takes off with the velocity of a bullet. And I say that intentionally. At the end of the play, there's a lot to consider. The work does lack a little bit, though, but I would really recommend it for people who are really into drama and would like to see this. Again, this is a small company that's putting it together, and again, On an Average Day. Now, over at the Rivertown Theaters of the Performing Arts, let's mention really quick that there are two things that are going on. First off, and the Ball and All. We know all about Ricky Graham. There's only a handful of seats that are left. It's sold out for this weekend, except for a few tickets that were left on Saturday night and just a few on Sunday. And again, that's the same day as the Super Bowl, so that's understandable, I guess. But get your tickets for this very quickly. The crew of Terpsichore is calling for you. And also in the same area in Rivertown, don't forget Reefer Madness is having its second half of its bifurcated run at the theater there on the main stage. So keep that in mind as well. Over in the Slidell Little Theater, they have something that we've seen here before, but I wanted to mention for those of you who are on the North Shore, Sesame Street for Grown-Ups, you might call it. Robert Lopez and Jeff Marx's Tony Award-winning 2003 Best Musical. Of course, Avenue Q. Songs like Everybody's a Little Racist, If You Were Gay, and The More You Love Someone, or some of the things that are in there central. But I would tell you that this cast is going to be running through Sunday at the Slidell Little Theater. And there are 2 shows left for what looks like an amazing spectacle at the Smoothie King Arena. That's Toruk, The First Flight. This is a Cirque du Soleil show, and it's coming here for the first time. This is based on the James Cameron Avatar characters. And again, if you can see just by the costuming here, it's absolutely incredible. All of the characters flying through the air, and I'm really looking forward for people who want to see some circus activity to go check that out as well.
Thank you, Alan. Now time for our picks. Carl.
Okay, well, Sunday morning, Super Bowl Sunday, the 5th, 10:30 a.m., there is the most amazing second line parade coming out of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival office on Rampart Street. This is the Treme Sidewalk Steppers.
Oh, how fun.
Beautiful, beautiful costumes. If you miss it, the King and Queen are donating their costumes to our museum on Monday, so they'll be on display for about a year.
Great, thank you, Poppy.
Big news from Dickie Brennan's Steakhouse. Their incredible happy hour during the week, daily, 5 to 7 is back. $5 small plates and $5 cocktails, and also Friday Prime Lunch is back with $1 cocktails at lunch.
Ooh, Raynel.
In my neck of the woods in Mardi at Buffa's on Thursday, there's going to be Gumbo Cabaret at 5 p.m. with Harry Mayronne as the pianist.
Yay, all right.
Well, I want to give a shout out to the crew of Iris for their 100th celebration tonight, and of course Argus as well and Excalibur. Friends of Music, however, on Wednesday are going to be presenting some Beethoven, Bartok, and Brahms. That'll be uptown at the two-lane stage, and where they normally have all of their information there. So hopefully they'll have a lot of stuff there.
Thank you. And here's my picks. I've got a king cake, another king cake, and this is from Dong Fong Bakery. We know that. And it's now available, though, not only, of course, on Chef Mature, but also in New Orleans East, but also at Pizza Nola on Harrison Avenue, which might be more convenient for some folks in Lakeview. Many flavors, including cinnamon, cream cheese, blueberry, or strawberry filled, but very convenient there on Harrison. Pizza Nola. Also, Gina Wear costumes and clothing having their carnival sale starting tomorrow. One of our favorite places, right, Poppy?
Yes, indeed.
And continuing for the next 3 Saturdays. And you can check, of course, right there in BMville in Mid-City. And you can check their Facebook page for more details of their times. And New Orleans Magazine presents their Tops of the Town party. It's next Wednesday, and it's at the Monastery. That's the old chapel on Rampart Street, of course, you know, the Carmelites Chapel. And you can go to myneworleans.com for tickets. And looking ahead, Rick Rack NOLA will hold their Hollywood thrift sale at their warehouse in Algiers next Saturday and Sunday, February 11th and 12th. You can buy a bag to fill for $15 or $30. You can also shop before the crowds next Friday for $50. All proceeds go towards their kids' sewing and costuming programs. And thank you all very much for being here, and thanks for watching. Good night.